Multiplying binomials. Okay, so if you remember back, you may have used algebra tiles, and what we're going to do is just show you sort of an area model of multiplying binomials. So I'm creating this figure here, and we'll split it up into 4, and we'll call this x as this side here, and we'll say this is x plus 8, and this is x plus 6. So what are the different areas? This area here is x by x, x squared. This area here is x by 8, so 8x. This area here is x by 6, or 6x, and this area here is 6 times 8, or 48. Collecting those together, we have x squared plus 8x plus 6x plus 8, which is x squared plus 14x. Oops, that was a 48. 14x plus 48, which is the area. So what we're going to do now is come up with a way to multiply these. Now that you've seen the area model and that you understand there are 4 different products that you'll be finding, how are we going to do this with 2 binomials? Okay, algebraically, what does this look like? We've got x plus 8 times x plus 6. First, we want the x squared product, so I'm going to multiply the x times the x, giving me x squared. Then I want the 6x product, so plus 6x. Now I want the 8x product, plus 8x, and last 8 times 6 to give us the 48. So there's a method for memorizing this, or it's called FOIL. Oops, F-O-I-L. This is the first product, the product of the first 2 numbers, the x times the x. The 6x is the outer, or outside, x times 6. That's the outside, or outer product. The 8 times the x, these are the inner numbers, so that's called the inner product. And 8 times 6 is last. So you can use FOIL to help you remember how to multiply binomials: first, outer, inner, last. Okay, let's do one more. Let's say we have 2x minus 3y times 4x plus 5y. Now we're going to get 4 products, right? So the first, 2x times 4x will give us 8x squared. The outer 2x times 5y is plus 10xy. The inner product, the negative 3y times the 4x, is minus 12xy. And let's try and keep these in alphabetical order, so we won't go with xy and then yx. This way we know these are like terms. And the last product, negative 3y times 5y, is minus 15y squared. Now what will often happen most of the time is that you will be collecting together the outer and the inner. And so we end up with a trinomial, 8x squared minus 2xy minus 15y squared. Okay, what happens if you have a binomial times a trinomial? Now with 2 binomials together, we know we get 4 products. With a binomial, let's say x plus y, and a trinomial, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. And you know what, I'm going to change this. So let me just go get an eraser. Change this. There we go. Erase, erase, erase. Let me get back to a pen. Let's make this x plus 4. Okay, now in this case, I'm multiplying 2 binomial times 3 a trinomial. That's going to give me 6 products. Because what we have to do is take every term in the binomial, the x, and multiply it by every term in the trinomial. which will give me 3 products, and then do the same thing with the 4. There's no acronym like FOIL. So we're just going to go x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. Then x times negative 4x is minus 4x squared. Then we've got the x times the 3, giving us plus 3x. So this was the x times each of these. Now we have to do it with the 4. So 4 times 2x squared plus 8x squared. Now we've got the 4 times the minus 4x. So 4 times minus 4x is minus 16x. And then the 4 times the 3 plus 12. So watch your signs when you're doing this. Positive times a positive is positive, and so on. And now we collect like terms. So the 2x cubed, it's only x cubed. I've got negative 4x squared plus 8x squared will be plus 4x squared. 3x minus 16x is minus 13x. And then the 12, the constant term, remember constant term, is 12. So binomial times trinomial, that's 2 terms times 3 terms. 2 times 3 is 6. You will get 6 terms in the initial expansion, and then this collected down into 4 terms. Okay, we'll come back and we'll look at some special products. Actually, before we look at special products, let's just do one more example where we're actually going to have a couple of binomials multiplied together and then another couple. So I want to do something like y plus 2 times y minus 1 minus y minus 3 times y plus 5. So how are we going to handle this? The best way to handle this is first to just do the first product. So y squared minus y plus 2y minus 2 minus, now since that's a minus, I need to put brackets around this product, which will be y squared plus 5y minus 3y plus 15. And the reason I need that set of brackets is this negative sign is going to distribute through here. So let's just do a little collection first. Y squared plus y minus 2 minus y squared plus 2y plus 15. And we get y squared plus y minus 2 minus y squared minus 2y minus 15. Oh, and while we're at it, let's throw in some equal signs because it is equal. So y squared minus y squared is nothing. Y minus 2y is negative y. Minus 17 is your final answer. Okay, so that's just an example. We're multiplying 2 binomials. And I'm actually going to do one more multiplying 2 binomials and just sort of show you the shortcut and the thinking that goes into this. Now that we know we need to get 4 products. So let's just try 2x minus 7 and 3x plus 5. Okay, now here's how I do it. Equals, so 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Since I know my outer and my inner are going to collect together, 2x times positive 5 is plus 10x minus 21x, plus 10 minus 21 is minus 11x, and then minus 35. So instead of writing down all 4 products, I keep in mind that my outer and my inner, the 2x, the outer, times 5, and the minus 7 times 3x will both be x terms, and I just do that in my head. Plus 10x minus 21x, plus 10 minus 21 is minus 11. So instead of writing out the 4, I'm just going directly to writing of my final answer. Okay, we'll come back, or at least I'll come back. I'm going to pause, clear the screen, we'll come back, and we'll do some special products. Special products come in 2 flavors. One is squaring a binomial, and the other one is multiplying the same 2 terms together, but where they have opposite signs, which we'll call the product of a sum and a difference. Okay, so let's first off square a binomial. So what's it going to look like? Let's say we start with something like this, x plus 4 squared. Well, what does this mean? It means you're going to take x plus 4 and multiply it by x plus 4. Using FOIL, we would get x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. Oops, sorry, I ran off the tablet there. Plus 16, which is x squared plus 8x plus 16. Now, is there a faster way to do this than writing this part out? And yes, there is. So let's just take a look at this kind of with a general case. So if I do a general, a plus b squared, okay, and again, what we'll do is just what we did above, only now everything is a variable. So the first product is a squared, the outer is plus ab, the inner is b times a, but we're going to go alphabetical order, so we'll say plus ab, and the last is b squared. So you notice this term is repeated. Same as up here, we had a 4x and then another 4x. So this is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So what's the secret? The secret is if you're squaring a binomial, you square the first term. You multiply the two terms together, the a and the b, and then you double them, right? Because there will be two of them, the outer product and the inner product. So plus 2ab, and then you square the last term, giving you plus b squared. Okay, what if it's a minus? A minus b squared. You square the first term, a squared. You multiply a times negative b, giving you negative ab, and you double that, so you get minus 2ab, and then you square the last term, which, since it's a negative and it's squared, will end up as a positive. You get a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so let's see this in action on something a little more complicated than just an a or a b. Let's go with 5x minus 7y squared. Square the first term, 25x squared. Multiply the 5x times the minus 7y. Gives you minus 35xy. Double it, because you'll get two of them, so you get minus 70xy plus, and then square the last term, 49y squared. So whatever sign is in here will be the sign that you get over here, right? If it's a plus, you get a plus. If it's a plus, you get a plus 2ab. If it's a minus, you get a minus 2ab. So these should just square in your head. Any binomial that squares should just square in your head. Okay, the second special product is the product of a sum and a difference. So a sum and a difference. Let's say I have 5x plus 2y, and I'm multiplying that by 5x minus 2y. So the same two terms, the 5x's. If we FOIL that out, let's see what happens. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times minus 2y will give us minus 10xy. Plus 2y times 5x will give us, hang on, I'm just going to get my, plus 10xy. And the last two terms, plus 2y times minus 2y, will give us minus 4y squared. Collect those together, 25x squared. Minus 10xy plus 10xy will cancel, and you're left with minus 4y squared. So in this case, we only have two terms. Let's take a look at a sort of easier and more general one. A plus b times a minus b. Okay, four products. A squared minus ab plus ab, minus, hang on, forget eraser. Okay, back to the pen. Oops, magic wand, no. Minus b squared, which collects to a squared minus b squared. And so our rule, when you're multiplying the product of a sum and a difference, you're only going to get two terms, and basically it's the first term squared minus the last term squared, right? The outer and the inner will have the same values but with opposite signs, so they will cancel each other out. Okay, so let's do that the easy way. 7x plus 3y, 7x minus 3y equals, first term squared, 49x squared, and minus the last term squared, minus 9y squared. So that's the special product, or the product of a sum and a difference. Okay, so these are the special products, which is the square of a binomial and the product of a sum and a difference. I think the last thing we want to look at today is the cube of a binomial. So how are we going to handle that? Or, how are we going to handle a more complicated multiplication? So let's just do an example of cubing a binomial. So let's say I've got 2x plus 3, and I want to cube that. So if we think, what does that mean? It means 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3, or 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3 squared. And so what we're going to do is, first, we're going to square this. So we've got the first 2x plus 3. We're going to square this. Now this is a special product. We can just do this in our head, right? So it's 4x squared. 2x times 3 is plus 6x, doubled is plus 12x, and 3 squared plus 9. So now we're at the case where we have a binomial times a trinomial. Okay, we know how to do that. We know that there will be 6 products. So we start by multiplying 2x, distributing it through the brackets. Okay, so 2x, that gives me 8x cubed plus 24x squared plus 18x. And now we distribute the 3 through the brackets, plus 12x squared plus 36x plus 27, and then we collect our terms. There's only one cubed term, so 8x cubed plus 36x squared, we've got the 2x squared terms, plus 54x, the 2x terms, plus 27. Okay, so if you want to cube something, start off by squaring it first and then multiply it by the other binomial. Binomial times trinomial, 6 terms. And that's it for today's lesson.